agent at Aussizz Group, Bankstown. We will just wait for a few more people to join, and then we will start our discussion. By the way, today's our topic is partner visa options. So if anyone or if you are interested in this, then this session will be helpful for you. So we'll just wait for a few minutes so that other people can join, and then we will start this session. Okay. So, hi everyone, whoever has joined. My name is Ehsan. I'm registered migration agent at Aussizz Bankstown. The topic of today's discussion is partner visa. I'll be discussing partner visa options, onshore, offshore, or prospective marriage visa. So if this is something that you are looking for or you're interested in, this session will help you to understand partner visa requirements. And at the end, I'll be taking your questions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So I will get started now. Just give me a minute and we'll be starting our session. So I hope everyone can see my screen now. So as I've already introduced myself and I've already told you that this session is for partner visa, and I will be representing this to you. Now, first question is that who can apply for a partner visa? So the applicant who is applying for partner visa must be engaged, married, or in a de facto relationship with Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. So this is the first criteria. They must be in a relationship with Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. So all the requirements that we are going to discuss will revolve around these kind of applicants basically. So here is the chart which shows that what sort of options are there when we are discussing partner visas. So if you can see on your left side of your screen, so one option is prospective marriage visa, which is subclass 300. Now, if you're applying for subclass 300, this visa is basically where you inform department that you want to get married, you are engaged and you are planning to get married, but you want to spend some time together before you get married. So as you can see from the word, it's prospective marriage. Now, once you get the visa, a partner will come onshore, you will get married, and you will apply for subclass 820. And then later on, you can apply for a permanent visa, which is subclass 801. Now, this is generally for applicants who are not in de facto relationship or are married, so they can go for this option. However, other two options, which are onshore partner visa or offshore partner visa, they are for applicants who are either married or in a de facto relationship. And I'll discuss the requirements for de facto relationship and relationship in detail. But if someone wants to lodge application onshore, one of the option is that if their partner is here on a visitor visa, subclass 600, and they do not have no further stay condition, and they are in relationship and they want to apply onshore visa, they can go for this option. Now, in this case, they will be lodging 820 visa first. So application that you lodge is combined, but you are generally granted a provisional visa first, which is subclass 820, and then you get a permanent visa grant subclass 801. If no further stay condition is, so it's actually other way around. So it should have been yes or no. So apologies for that. But if you do not have no further stay condition, then you can apply. If you have that condition attached, then you cannot apply for a visa while in Australia. So you'll have to then go for the last option, which is partner visa, provisional partner visa, offshore partner visa, basically. Now, in offshore partner visa, it's for applicants whose so let's say if applicant is offshore, you are already married or in a de facto relationship, but main applicant is already offshore. They are not in Australia. In that case, you will lodge this visa. First, you will get subclass 309. And then, of course, a partner will be able to come to Australia. Meanwhile, if partner wants to come, so let's say if you have already lodged 309 and your partner wants to come to Australia, they can get, meanwhile, they can get a visitor visa, can travel to Australia. And once 309 is granted, they can stay here and apply for subclass 100. So in this chart, there is just one mistake with no further stay condition. It should be other way around, basically. Now, onshore partner visa, as I discussed earlier. So if you are lodging partner visa onshore, it means that the applicant who is lodging visa is in Australia on a substantive visa, basically. Or in some cases, they can also apply if they are not on a substantive visa, but we are not going for that discussion now. So if partner is in Australia, they can apply for onshore partner visa. Now, once that application is lodged, waiting times are currently can be 1 to 2 years, 1 to 1.5 years. And once that visa is granted, they have to wait to get permanent residency. Now they can go for second stage application 2 years from 820 or initial visa application lodgement. So that's when, so once they lodge initial application, 2 years from that date, they can lodge a stage 2 application. So this is the requirement for onshore partner visa where applicant is in Australia. Now, coming towards how to prove your relationship. So, even on last, I've been discussing 3 options. Either you are in a de facto relationship, or you have you have registered your relationship with relevant state authority, or you are legally married. So these are the 3 options which you can choose when you are applying for a partner visa. Now, normal de facto relationship is where you can prove that you have been living together for at least 12 months as a couple. So that's important part for option 1. If in case you are not living together for past 12 months and you register your relationship with relevant state authority, you can then go for, you can still apply as a de facto partner. You still have to prove other requirements of relationship, but you will meet this one of the requirements. Option 3 is if you get married, if you are legally married in Australia or in another country, but that marriage should be recognized as a legal marriage in the country where you have registered it. So these are the 3 options for basically proving your relationship. Now, in addition to that, department also, whenever someone is applying for a partner visa, so in this case, I'm discussing onshore, but this requirement applies to offshore as well. So you have to prove that there is, you have to prove genuineness and continuation of relationship, which means that you have to satisfy department that you are in a long-term, genuine and committed relationship. Now, there are 4 ways to do it. First is, or first factor that department looks into is your social awareness of the relationship. Now, in social awareness of relationship, basically, you have to prove that how people see you, do they see you as a couple or friends, or so basically you have to show that you are seen as a couple in society overall. So this can include maybe if you have photos with friends and family, you have letter or the affidavits from your parents or your friends. You have to provide Form 888 declaration from at least 2 people who know you and who are Australian permanent resident or citizen. And you can provide other evidences here, for example, Facebook. So if you use social media posts, etc. Then second factor that department looks into is your financial commitment. Now, this is where most of the applicants we have seen, they do not pay too much attention to this. So in the financial commitment part, basically, you have to prove that you have to tell the department what are your financial arrangements. How do you spend money? How do you pay rent? Or how do you, make day-to-day expense? Or where do you trust each other with your finances, in simple words? Now, over here, it's one of the ways that you can have a joint bank account, which you can use for day-to-day transactions. You can use it for savings. That will help you to prove that you have financial commitment to each other. In addition to that, you can have any joint asset or liability that will come under financial commitment. It can be a mortgage, it can be a car, it can be, so any joint asset or liability will come under this part. Third is your living arrangement. Or if you are not living together, contact while apart. Now, contact while apart is generally more applicable to offshore cases. I'll discuss that in coming slides. But for living arrangement, you have to basically convince department, or you have to provide evidence that you have been living together for the duration of your relationship. And how do you share your household duties, for example, and how, so what are your living arrangements in general way? So now how to prove that you're living together? One way is if you are renting property, you should have lease, you can have joint lease. It's not compulsory to have joint lease. I understand sometimes, you might be renting property for quite some time now and your lease is ongoing and you haven't added your partner into it. It's recommended that you can add it, but it's not a requirement. However, you still have to prove with all other documents that you are living together. It can be photo cards, it can be driver's license, it can be addressed on all other official documents. Okay, so that part comes under living arrangements. Then the last and one of the most important part is mutual commitment. Now, mutual commitment, basically, department looks into various factors that to determine that what sort of commitment you have to each other. Now, you can provide relationship statements or declarations, where you inform department about your commitment to each other, how you met, or how do you feel about each other, how you share your household duties, or what are your future plans. So basically, in that statement, you cover your whole relationship, your past, present, and future. So that's where, and then you also provide other documents in this, which can be your photographs together, if you have been to honeymoon, or if you have traveled together. So all those things come under this part. But it's very important to satisfy all these factors in order to make a successful application or for partner visa. So everyone who's listening, these are what I have seen in the past is that people make mistakes around this. They think that, okay, if they are married, they do not have to prove all that. Or if they are in long-term de facto relationship, maybe they do not have to prove that. But we always recommend, and I always recommend my clients to provide enough documents for all of these areas to satisfy case officer that you are in a genuine and continuing relationship. So other requirements are health requirements are there, where you have to do medical examination and you have to meet character requirements, where you'll have to provide police clearances from countries where applicant has resided for more than 12 months in past 10 years. Okay, so you'll have to provide character and health. Basically, it's like any other visa. Now, prospective marriage visa, one of the options that I discussed. So the applicant must be engaged to Australian citizen or PR or PR holder or eligible New Zealand citizen for this. Okay. Now, if, for example, you are not married and you are engaged and your partner is offshore, then this is the option that you can look for. Now, with prospective marriage visa, it allows your partner to come to Australia on a visa, stay here, get married, and then you lodge onshore partner visa. So it's one step extra, but it's for those people who are not in de facto relationship or who are not married already. Now, I've seen few clients who cannot travel to the country where their where their fiance is living, for example. So, or for some reason they cannot travel, they are too busy, they cannot go and get married, or they want to spend some time together. So this is one of the options that they can consider if they are already engaged. You have to provide evidence of intention to marriage and your engagement in this. Then, once 300 is granted, applicants have to get married within 9 to 15 months, depending on when visa is granted. Generally, it was 9 months, but due to COVID restrictions, department increased it to 15 months. So that's why I've written 9 to 5 months. And once they have entered, got married, then they apply for 820/801, which is onshore partner visa. So this is the pathway for prospective marriage visa. Again, for relationship, they still have to prove that they are in a relationship, engaged relationship. They do not have to prove de facto or marriage. Of course, they are engaged, but they still have to, if you are applying for this visa, you still have to prove that you are in a relationship. Now, if applicant, so this is the case for offshore visa. If for example, you are married or an applicant is offshore and you as Australian PR citizen is in Australia. Now, in this case, this is one option that you can look for. Now, for this, as it's evident from name, applicant must be offshore. Once 309 is granted, applicant come to Australia. After 2 years of 309 lodgement, they can apply for 100 visa, which is permanent visa. Now, in between, let's say you have lodged 309 visa today, and because processing times are long, I understand that it can be 1 year, 1.5 years, processing times can really be lengthy sometimes. So in between, you can apply for a visitor's visa, and if you once you get visitor visa, your partner can come to Australia, can spend some time here with you, and then once, of course, wait for 309 visa grant. Now, it depends on the duration of visitor visa grant in order to determine how long they can stay in Australia. So if someone is applying for this option, it's not compulsory that they must wait for whole duration offshore. So this is one of the confusion that applicants generally have. So they, once after lodging 309, they can still be granted a visitor visa to come to Australia. Then again, same, we have to still prove, even if it is offshore or onshore, we have to prove 4 aspects of relationship, which includes social awareness, which includes financial commitment, that includes living arrangements, that includes mutual commitment. Okay. So you still have to prove all of these factors. Now, the difference, the factor that is different in this offshore case is that you might not be living together. So let's say if you are a recently married couple, you went offshore, you got married, applicant is offshore, you came back to Australia, now you are not living together. So now how to prove that part? In that case, you provide department with evidence that you are in contact while apart. So that can be via chat, via call logs, via, if you are using any other means of communication. And if the partner is offshore, let's say you can send them gifts, or you can send remittance to them. So that can also be used as financial commitment in this case. Now, onshore or offshore, you still have to meet health requirements and character requirements. Again, for health requirements, applicant has to go for a medical examination, and applicant has to meet character requirements there. Okay, so that's all about partner visa. Now I will discuss 1 or 2 case studies for your better understanding. Now, for all of the visas, yeah. So now, for example, for case study 1 will be for someone like, so you got married, let's say, applicant or sponsor gets married to applicant, applicant is offshore. Now, applicant travels back to their country, they get married. Sponsor travel back to country, they get married, and then sponsor comes back to Australia. Okay. Now, from there, you have two options. Either you apply for her visitor visa and or any other visa, she can your partner can come to Australia, which is applicant, and once they are in Australia and they do not have a no further stay condition, you can consider applying for 820/801 visa. Second option is you lodge offshore partner visa while applicant is offshore. You lodge 309 visa and then apply for a visitor visa. Now, because offshore application will still be in the queue, and meanwhile, applicant will be able to visit and spend time with sponsor. Third option is if someone is not, if a sponsor is in Australia and they are engaged to applicant who is offshore, any country. In that case, and sponsor for some reason does not want to get married now, does not want to go offshore to get married. So in that case, you can first apply for prospective marriage visa. Once applicant gets that visa, they can come to Australia, can spend time together, get married within 9 to 15 months, and lodge onshore partner visa. So these are three options for normal applicants that I see. Now, just to let you know, we are open in Bankstown as well in NSW. So you can reach out to us or you can walk in for consultations, and or you have our address and contact details here. Now, I will be taking questions from social media. Like if anyone has any question, just drop it in the comment section, and I will answer those questions one by one. Okay, so Shilpa, Shilpa, I've provided the relevant information in my in this discussion. If you watch all that, you will get information relevant to your case. I'm not sure what is your status currently. If you are married or you are in a de facto relationship. I can see that you are offshore, so maybe you might consider applying for offshore partner visa or prospective marriage visa if you are not married yet. Okay, so just getting all the questions. So Karan has asked that his wife is on 3 years visitor visa with maximum stay of 3 months. If we apply for onshore now, will she still be able? Will she still need to leave Australia after 3 months? So, Karan, good question. So, if your partner is in Australia on a visitor visa and she does not have a no further stay condition, she can apply for visa while in Australia, and she will be granted a bridging visa A. Now, bridging visa A will come into effect once her current visa expires, which will be her current entry will expire after 3 months as per the information you provided. So Her bridging visa will come into effect after 3 months, and she will be able to stay here while her application is being processed. Okay, so yeah, so Suraj has asked similar question that can an applicant apply for a bridging visa once 820 is applied? Applicant is on visitor visa with 11 months remaining. So Suraj, once you lodge partner visa, applicant will get bridging visa. However, bridging visa will not come into effect because her substantive visa is still there, or the applicant substantive visa will still be there. Okay. Now, in that case, bridging visa will not come into effect until that 12 months period or 11 months period, whatever is left, is completed. So bridging visa will be there, but it's not active. So Vishnu has asked that in partner visa, is there options like sponsor visa, stage 1 visa, stage 2 visa? So look, Vishnu, in simple words, whenever you lodge a partner visa, so you lodge, if you're lodging onshore, you lodge 820/801 application. However, you get stage 1 grant first, which is 820. And then once you have completed the required duration, you can lodge 801, which is called stage 2. Now, sponsorship is not a visa. Sponsorship is basically where you as an applicant, you as a sponsor, say that I am sponsoring this person for this particular visa. So it's not an application by itself, but it's basically you, it's not a visa by itself, but it's an application from your side as a sponsor, basically. So Suraj, I have answered your question. So in that case, if it is, her the partner will get bridging visa, but it will not come into effect unless that visitor visa duration expires. So, Babak, visa processing times are, look, so currently, yes, department is, we are also facing delays for our clients for different visa applications, including visitor visa applications. Now, sponsorship, family sponsored visitor visas are taking longer as compared to normal visitor visa applications. So you might have to wait for some more time. There is no such time frame from department in which your visa can be granted. I understand that it's a bit lengthy process, but department is working on that, and they are already aware of processing delays. Suraj, the only way you can get bridging visa active is if your existing substantive visa gets cancelled, which is not a good option, of course. In that case, you will be issued a bridging visa E. Okay. So, and of course, unless her student visitor visa is valid, your partner, she cannot, or he or she cannot work. So just keep that in mind. You can request department to cancel existing visa. That's your right, but I will not recommend that. Vishnu, I'm not exactly sure what your question is. Of course, I believe that it's more related to filling in application. I can explain you requirements. However, I will not be able to advise you on the application drafting part. But look, you have to, so for partner visa, whenever you lodge a partner visa, you have to lodge a sponsorship application as well. It's not a visa, it's sponsorship application for that partner visa, basically. So Shafiqul, you'll have to, if partner visa stage 1 is not a permanent visa, okay, and it is not rated as a permanent visa. Yes, it is a provisional visa. So regarding their status, that if they can, get start studying as domestic student or not, I think it's better that you discuss it with an institute or university. As per what I can tell you is that it's not a permanent visa. So it's better that you, wherever your partner wants to study, just inquire with them once. Amneet has asked for processing time, and someone else asked for processing times as well. No, look, processing times are really varying. So it depends. So if it is offshore partner visa, it depends on the country where applicant is residing. So for few countries, processing is faster as compared to others. Generally, it's overall processing times are between 12 to 18 months, which keeps on changing. So you'll have to monitor that global processing times on department's website. But last year or the year, so during COVID period, onshore partner visas were being granted on fast pace. We have received many grants in 3 to 4 months or 6 months period. But of course, last year they had allocated more seats to partner visas. So that was the reason. Now seats have been reduced as compared to last year. So there might be, it might get normalized where the wait period was between 1 to 1.5 years in most of the cases. Babak, so can 309 be granted? So actually 302 and for 309 to be granted onshore, previously it was not applicable. Then department announced it due to COVID concession period. It can be granted onshore, but once that period is over, or if it is beyond that period, then it cannot be granted offshore. So generally no, but for specific time it's yes. So I've got few other questions related to other partner visas. So look, this session is for partner visas where applicant is a permanent resident, where sponsor is a permanent resident or citizen, and applicant is married or in a de facto relationship or in a engaged relationship with that person. However, I will take few questions related to that. So Naeem has asked processing time for 485 visa. Now it was taking long time, and now department has started processing it quite quicker. So it can be, but still there is a lot of backlog. So you can expect 6 to 8 months or maybe 12 months in some cases. But since department has started processing quicker, it might get dropped to 3-4 months as well. Okay. I'm just waiting for a few other questions. Okay, so I've got few questions which are not relevant to this particular visa, but they are like other dependent visas, and I will be happy to answer those too. So uh, Ruth has asked that she's here on a student visa and married, and they have 3 children, and she wants to apply for husband as subsequent entrant. Okay. Now, if you're on a student visa, you are doing masters and you are married and you have children, so you'll have to apply for 500 subsequent entrant visa. Now, for 500 subsequent entrant visa, of course, you'll have to, there are certain requirements that you have to meet. Of course, you must be in a relationship. If you have 3 children, they must all be your dependents. If your husband is applying with you, of course, you must be in a genuine and continuing relationship. Then you have to meet financial requirements as well as GTE, which is genuine temporary entrant requirement. But yes, you can apply while you are here on a student visa. Catherine has asked that for masters, can you bring your partner with you in Australia? Yes. So if you are on a student visa, you are married, and you have a partner who is not in Australia or is in Australia, does not matter. You can apply for 500 subsequent entrant visa. Now, once the visa is granted, your partner can join you in Australia. And if you're studying masters, your partner will have full working rights. Okay, so Vishnu has asked, so your partner is in student bridging visa now. Okay, so Vishnu, this is a very important part. I want everyone to consider that as well. Now, if your partner is in Australia, the applicant is in Australia, and they are not a holder of a substantive visa, then you'll have to satisfy Schedule 3 criteria. In simple words, Schedule 3 criteria is it's not easy to meet. So if someone is not on a substantive visa, my recommendation, unless they have very strong or genuine reasons or compassionate or compelling reasons, I will not recommend them to lodge partner visa from Australia. My recommendation will be to wait for substantive visa grant, which in this case will be a student visa. And once he has that, you can apply for a partner visa at that time. And then, of course, working rights will be as per bridging visa. Once bridging visa A comes into effect, there are full working rights. But until an applicant stays on a previous substantive visa, which can be a visitor or a student, they still have to meet the requirement of that previous visa, basically. So, Karan, that will be too specific, but it can be any joint liability, joint asset. It varies from case to case. Now, few applicants, they can have joint mortgage, for example. Yeah, they can have they might have life insurance together, or there can be a lot of different documents which applicants can provide. So I'm just looking for other questions as well, so I can answer as many questions as possible. Okay, so if someone has any question, they can send me, because I've answered all the questions that were asked on different platforms. So if you have any question related to partner visa or the visas that we have discussed, you can always reach out to us on the numbers provided here. So I have got my email address here. I have got my phone number, so WhatsApp. So you can always contact us if you need further information, or you can reach your nearest office, Aussizz Group, because we are in almost all states. So you can reach your nearest office to get further information related to partner visas. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope this session was helpful, and we'll look forward to see you in future.